starting off in the first race, which is a Quartet Maxi Pool carryover. Everybody's looking to build a bank for their bipod and their place accumulator, and we're hoping that we can have a blast in the first race.
I'd love to have a blast in the first race. Very nice horse. We probably should have given him some time off before, but everyone was always trying to chase down that maid and win and then give him a break, but he actually probably needed a break before then. I think he's come back well. He hasn't had a grass gallop or anything like that, but I think he's done enough work.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's in the same boat, so, level playing field in respect of the grass.
Yeah, apart from the Cape Town horses, obviously.
Yeah, that's a bit of an advantage, definitely. Okay, then Grant van Niekerk once again is aboard Admire the Persian in the second of the afternoon.
She's a very nice filly, coming along nicely. Half sister to Swift Wonder, and he's an out-and-out sprinter, so I have my doubts about the 1400, but we are giving it a bash just to see if she can. But I think she's a sprinter.
Pressure from the owners?
What's the input?
Okay, fantastic. Then on to Proposio. Grant van Niekerk is the ride, and the first leg of the place accumulator beckons.
He's a very strange horse.
Like his name?
Yes. He is a really, really lovely, stunning horse. Does good work at home. Doesn't always bring it to the races. I think Stallone got to know him quite well. Also ran into some trouble, but I think I'm looking forward to seeing him running on the grass again to see how he'll do. The
other runner in the race with one of the hardest working men around, Francie Herald, on Tiger Right.
Tiger ran a really good race on Monday, ran fourth. Back on the grass, he takes his racing really well, so I think he'll do all right. He'll stand up.
Tiger will be all right. Social Climber, we understand, will need it very badly, so we're going to move past that one onto the first leg of the jackpot, where we've got Briar King, the very striking chestnut with the white socks, resembles, of course, Gatecrasher and Le Capitan.
Briar King, very, very talented horse, but really has a mind of his own. I think you could see from his last two starts what he did. If by accident the gate was left open and he spotted that it was open and ran all the way home, not just off the racecourse, but all the way back to his yard. Le Capitan, nice horse. I think he's had his 2 runs. A little bit unlucky in his last start. Greg had to check because he got squeezed. I think he'll run a nice race.
Okay, on the subject of happiness, Joyful Spirit is the representative in race 6.
I think this filly's come a long way, hey? Her poly runs were very good, and I just hope she can do it on the grass.
All right, and then, of course, the horse that has just been an absolute joy to train, I'm sure. He's a smashing-looking horse, and he's run with the very best, like Jackson, etc., etc., been around the country. But Blaze of Fire, like so many other horses with talent, comes off a little bit of a break.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I said before, we weren't able to have the grass. He had a little dash down the back straight, which is probably 600, 800 metres, which wasn't enough. And he was blowing, so I do think he's going to need it rather badly. And also just with his injury, we can't go on the poly. I think a lot of horses have had the benefit of racing on the poly, which he hasn't had. And he's a big horse and still a colt, so he's really carries a lot of condition. So I just hope that we've done enough with what we've had to work with.
Would it be fair to say that even at his very, very fittest, that 10 furlongs is at the top of his range?
I think he can get it, because before we'd galloped him, and he galloped really, really well. And I think Francie's got his riding style sorted out with him, because Keris understood this horse, understood that you had to actually let him gallop. And when he got off the float from Durban and he won on the Friday, Francie actually let him gallop. If you see the horses banking up behind him, you know he's not going fast enough. Even though he feels like he is, he can actually go faster and needs to go faster.
Good news. Now, on to the full sister to the other filly in your yard, Travel up front. Path to Travel, Grant van Niekerk.
I think she's much better now that we've gone back to sprinting with her. She also lost away a little bit, but I think we've sorted out her problems.
Okay, would you give her a quartet chance then?
I would.
Okay, on to the final leg of the pick 6, where you're going to have a bit of a busy time. Bridge Too Far, KTM, and Shake and Bake, which of course is what you do in the kitchen.
Shake and Bake had 2 very good starts in the polio last 2, so I hope she can reproduce it on the grass. But I do think Wizzy knows it very well. KTM, she's a difficult customer, because she really likes the pace to be just the way she needs it to be. She has a quick finish, but then she just stays on. She doesn't. Her run is 200 meters. Bridge too fast. She's had a long layoff because she's had her problems and been ill and got over all of it, but she's working nicely.